My neighbor sued me for stealing 6 inches of his lawn, so I moved the fence and exposed his illegal sewage pipe to the EPA. The process server shoved the manila envelope into my chest with the enthusiasm of a damp sponge. Standing 10 feet away on his pristine, manicured lawn was my neighbor, Ken, a man who measured his grass height with a ruler and arguably loved his hydrangeas more than his children. It's nothing personal, David, Ken called out, raising a glass of Merlot in a mock toast. But property lines are sacred. My surveyor found that your privacy fence is encroaching on my lot by exactly 6 inches. That's half a foot of theft. I want it gone by Friday, or I'm suing for the value of the land plus legal fees. I plan to extend my rose garden. 6 inches? I asked, gripping the paperwork. Ken, that fence has been there for 15 years. It hides the creek bed. You really want me to tear down a structural barrier over a strip of dirt the width of a sandwich? It's my dirt, Ken smirked, adjusting his sweater vest. And I want it back. It's the principle, David. You're squatting on my estate. Remove the encroachment, or the court will make you do it and charge you triple. You want the fence moved back to the exact surveyor line. I clarified, feeling a cold, jagged amusement settle in my gut. You are absolutely sure you want to see what's behind those panels? I want my view. Ken snapped. I want my land. Tear it down. Okay, I said. I'll have a crew out here tomorrow. I didn't argue. I didn't warn him about the smell. I walked inside, poured a coffee, and called my contractor buddy, Mike. Ken thought the fence was just a boundary. He forgot, or maybe he ignored, why the previous owner built it 5 feet tall and solid wood. It wasn't just for privacy. It was a shield. The crew arrived at 8 a.m. Ken stood on his porch in his bathrobe, supervising like a general. Be careful with my grass. Ken yelled as Mike fired up the sawzall. I don't want any sawdust on the prize-winning petunias. We're just moving the fence, Ken, I shouted over the noise. Giving you your 6 inches back. Enjoy the view. Mike cut the posts. The panel fell with a heavy thud. The smell hit us instantly. It wasn't the smell of roses. It was the smell of raw, untreated sewage baking in the sun. Oh God. Ken gagged, covering his nose with his sleeve. What is that stench? Did you break a pipe? I didn't break anything, I said, walking over to the newly exposed strip of land. But look what we found. That's when the real bombshell dropped. Hidden behind my fence, exactly 4 inches into the land Ken had just reclaimed, was a jagged, white PVC pipe protruding from the ground. It was oozing a dark sludge directly into the storm drain easement. Is that? Ken stammered, his eyes watering. That's your septic overflow, I said, pointing to the pipe. From your unpermitted guest house renovation last year. You didn't want to pay for the sewer hookup, so you just ran a gray water line out the back, right? My fence was the only thing hiding it from the street. And the inspectors. Cover it up. Ken shrieked, running down the steps. Put the fence back. I can't let anyone see that. I can't. I smiled, holding up the lawsuit he served me. You demanded strict adherence to the property line. If I put the fence back, I'd be encroaching again. I can't break the law, Ken. It's the principle. I'll drop the suit, he wailed, trying to kick dirt over the sludge pipe. Just hide it. Too late, I said, pulling out my phone. I already called the EPA hotline. And the city code enforcement. They take biohazards pretty seriously. The city inspector arrived an hour later. He took one look at the pipe, one smell of the air, and slapped a bright red, unsafe to occupy sticker on Ken's guest house. Sir, the inspector told Ken, who was now weeping into his bathrobe. This is a direct discharge of raw sewage into a watershed. That's a federal offense. We're going to need to excavate your entire yard to find the source. And the fine starts at $10,000 a day until it's fixed. But my roses. Ken sobbed. Your roses are fertilized with crime, I noted. Ken had to pay 40 grand in environmental cleanup fees. His yard was dug up by a backhoe, destroying his prize-winning garden. I eventually built a new fence, right on the legal line, but I made it chain link so everyone walking by could see the construction mess in his yard. Am I the monster for exposing his dirty secret, or did he flush his own life away when he sued me over 6 inches?